Dude, I got my dog like right on my lap.
I saw that when you walked in. Yeah.
She was just being needy. She's like,
Yeah.
let me up.
What's
I
her
was like,
name?
okay.
What's your
All
dog's
right.
name?
My dog's name is Cookie.
Okay, nice.
Dude, I got my dog like right on my lap. Okay. And we are live on YouTube. So let me take this link,
Okay.
share to Twitter. Let's make it happen. All right, I'm going to tell people to come watch and ask questions in the chat.
Oh, perfect.
And that's up. And so I am going to start recording because I would like to have this one record. Perfect. Let's dive into it. So for everybody that is watching, for anybody that comes on and watches this replay, my name is Golf Blacksburg. I'm the COO at Wolf and the host of Market Madness. I have with me Bobby Gattuso, one of my favorite analysts. We're going to be breaking down some of the Final Four matchups, well, all the Final Four matchups, because there's only two of them. For Market Madness today, we have Bitcoin versus Palantir. We have Facebook versus Buzz. This is going to be hype because these two of these are going to go to the championship, and there's going to be a big match off. So thank you, Bobby, for joining me today. I'm excited to break these down.
Of course, I'm excited to be here, and it's championship week, so it's a really cool place to stay, up to date on what's going on with the charts.
Absolutely, couldn't be more excited. So let's dive right into it. Dealer's choice. Pick the one that you would like to go off first, and let's get into it.
Let's talk about Facebook. I got that right up here, and
absolutely.
As you can see, over $300. Although it's kind of peaking out a little bit. It had a high of $315 right about here. And then most recently, on April 19th, it broke down below its 10-day moving average, and it kind of bounced pretty nicely off its 20-day moving average. But as you can see, it's above its 200, it's above its 50, it's above its 100-day moving averages. So fundamentally, or technically rather, it looks really good.
Okay, so with Facebook, let's just talk for a second because we have the time, because there's only 4 here, to talk a little bit of the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Have you looked into the fundamentals of Facebook, some of their financials? I know that one of the biggest areas that I've been talking with people is their Oculus and the fact that they're taking a big grip on VR, and that's a big part of the future. What do you think?
No, I like it. And I think that deal was what, 7-8 years ago? Wasn't it originally on Kickstarter, Oculus?
Yeah, I mean, it's come a long way for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, they're cash flow heavy, and that's what any fundamentalist wants to see. It's a fantastic company. I like all the right moves they're doing. Although the Periscope that we were just talking about,
right. Yeah. So they took down Periscope that was on the Twitter thing, and now I guess you could do some stuff through Facebook Live. And obviously, like you were saying with that chart, they've been making some good moves. So where are they? I know that you like to hit on the moving averages, and you just kind of touched on that a little bit, but maybe you could just go a little bit more into depth on the spread between the moving averages and what that means to you.
Okay, well, the most important moving average for me is the 200-day moving average. For most traders, that fundamentally is the principal line that people like to see. And in layman's terms, if a stock is above its 200-day moving average for over 200 days, in a calendar year, the price has been above, in a positive direction. And when an analyst looks at a stock and it's below its 200-day moving average for over 200 days, it's been down. That's not what you want to see. So that one is primarily the most important one. And then you get into, the 100-day, the 50, the 20, and then the 10. And for people at home, this is a yearly chart. And I can also bring up the MACD and RSI values, which a lot of analysts like to look at. And if anyone's curious, I also have relative strength, which is one of my favorite indicators. It does not lie. But as you can see, this is the moving average right here for the MACD. And it did, unfortunately, cross below its slow MACD average line, which is this yellow one. So momentum is fading a little bit, in my opinion. And also with the relative strength, it is fading. And for people that are not familiar with the relative strength, it's not the same as RSI. Relative strength is pinning this stock against the S&P 500 or whatever value or indice that you would like to pair it up against. And as you can see, it is tailing off a little bit. And there was a little overbought signal with the RSI first week of April. As you can see, that was the high as well.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at the other side of the matchup for a second, and that's going to be Buzz. Buzz has made it, I think, pretty far in this championship compared to perhaps some of the expectations. Just taking a
Yeah.
look at just taking a look at the path that Buzz went through. They beat Spy in the first round, which I think should have been a good indicator that there was some power to Buzz.
Hey, I picked Buzz to
Yeah,
win it
yeah.
all. Just
Oh,
saying.
you did pick Buzz. I remember you had a great pick here. So after beating Spy, Buzz went on to beat SPCE and then QQQJ as well, which had a lot of backing to it. And then the big thing here was it beat PSTH, which was actually surprising because PSTH was on a roll. It took out ARKK, took out Silver, and then now, lost pretty handily to Buzz. So now Buzz is in this matchup with Facebook. Facebook is coming off a very narrow win over Baba. 6 votes. Six vote win over Baba. Facebook had beaten GS previously, TAP, J&J. Path comparable to Buzz, but maybe a little bit less so. So talk to me about Buzz and how they stack up against Facebook in this matchup.
Well, if you take a look at Buzz, it's a new security, so it doesn't have the longest track record. But as you can see, the high was 25.59 back in early March. Is this a double top? Maybe. Now that high was around 25. No one really likes to see double tops, by the way, for people at home. It is bouncing nicely off its 20-day moving average. It did fall below its 10-day moving average, and this is a yearly chart again. So this chart doesn't look that great. I wish I had more data to look at it, and my reason, solely based on our competition was Buzz is generating, all this social sentiment, and that's what we're all about. So that was my pick, not necessarily off the analytical side of it.
Yeah.
But let's look at the MACD and see what we can see. RSI values is 53, which is still a bullish indicator. I like RSI values above 50. Above 50 to about 70, 70, 80 is definitely overbought territory. Below 30 is the oversold territory where people like to bargain hunt. For me, I try to stay away from that at the moment. I'd rather have nice uptrends, easier to make money that way. So this is MACD. It is in a positive area, although the fast-moving MACD line is about to cross its slow MACD average line, which you don't like to see. And the relative strength is receding a bit. So momentum is sliding a little bit. Other than that, what do you like to see, Gon?
So I think with Buzz, one of the things that's been sticking out to me is that the holdings aren't what people think that it is. People thought that Buzz was going to be leaning towards, I don't know, like a GameStop or just, throwing things in there that just had a lot of talk about them, but they didn't do that. So if you go and look, so at the Buzz holdings, there's this pretty, I guess you could just probably see them right on the VanEck website because they're the one who created it. And they have Tesla in there. Obviously, that's a hype stock, but they have their next two holdings are Amazon and Apple, AMD and Rocket. Facebook is actually a top 7 holding within Buzz.
Which is interesting when you compare them against each other.
Right. Boeing, Palantir, DraftKings. So there's GME's in there. They have 60,000 shares, but it's a little bit lower down than people would think. I just think with Buzz that their massive weightings towards things like Amazon and Apple bring steadiness that makes me a little bit more comfortable because I am holding it. I bought it on the first day that it was available.
But you would be more excited they held a ton of Dogecoin, right? Is that what you're saying to me right now?
Yeah, right. They should be weighting heavily towards Dogecoin as of about a week ago. That would have been fantastic. Too bad I didn't keep all the Dogecoin. I bought it under 2 cents.
I know.
But with Buzz, so also just bringing it back to Facebook real quick, I'm trying to find right now. So I've been using, as you know, we look at social sentiment. So I was using socialsentiment.io to look at social sentiment for a lot of things. And now I'm also using this other service that I've been chatting with called Captain Solutions. And Captain Solutions, they're a little bit different from social sentiment because they don't just track every post. They track specifically from about 150 known content creators on Twitter. Those are the ones that they track, and they track their posts. And then I can actually share my screen real quick. If you look here, can you see this?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
So they're actually plotting out, as you can see, when all of them posted. So Rehard, or Austin
Oh, this is
Lieberman.
cool stuff. Yeah.
So it's very interesting stuff that they have this like commentary, price action, and conversation all plotted. Along with the real-time chart from TradingView, who is I'm a huge fan of TradingView. I actually have
What's the criteria for being a content creator on there and for their reason to track them?
Yeah, so I think that they, just like a lot of people who have been on FinTwit for a long time, you kind of get a feeling for who is the type of people that you want to be talking to. Sure. I work with a lot of these people myself. So whether that's Mark Cook, who's right here, I was on a Twitter space with him yesterday that he moderated. Denny Balder-Strauss is on here as well. Rehard. I've DM'd with all of them. Joe. They're just people who, over time, I think it's just they have a lot of followers. They have a lot of people looking at their content. They're consistently posting analysis as well. So they're not just, I might not make the cut for this because my account is less analysis, more bringing analysts together. And this is just a lot of people are doing this type of stuff, but it's very interesting. They have like these alerts for high price volume. They have the fundamentals. So you can look at like what they call pivot points for the fundamentals. So 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, which they actually like kind of graph across this, which is kind of cool, right? With the current price, they have the short percentage. So I've just been finding their stuff.
No, I like this a lot.
Yeah. So they're actually cheaper as well than socialsentiment.io.
How much is it?
I will say, I think they have two different plans, ranging between like 15 to like 30 something a month. Okay. I'm also trying to work with them on.
I feel so old school. I have a Barron's subscription.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with that? WSJ is like the only thing that I, feel like I have to always be subscribed to, even if I don't use it all the time. Yeah. You can see here they have popular stocks in the sector for Facebook. So like very, very cool. A lot of different areas in here. So unfortunately, I'm not the greatest at reading these things yet. From what I get, this is like their bullish, bearish indicator.
That's a heat map.
Yeah, this is like the heat map kind of thing that's going on here. And they're leaning bullish as of today, as you can see. But, I'm still figuring out how to use this, but I just wanted to kind of show it because I thought that they had really cool stuff. And
thank you for showing.
Yeah, and I met with their founder, Mickey, last week, maybe early last week. And so just like very, very cool stuff to look at what's going on. And they have this like rumor mill. I don't know, all this different type of stuff where you can like type stuff in. They got the fear and greed index. So I think that the social sentiment around Facebook's been nice. It's been hot.
Yep.
I think that they capture it well. It's like a very mixed amount of bullish and non-bullish, but I like it. You wanna take a crack at this other matchup because a lot of people think whoever wins this other matchup's winning it all.
Really? All right. Well, then that would go against my own hypothesis.
Yeah.
So you want to look at Palantir?
Yeah, let's look at Palantir. And I can also give some commentary on Palantir because I've been doing more research.
Well, why don't you go ahead and I'll bring up the chart.
Yeah, I think some of the most interesting things about Palantir is first, how old the company is. The fact that it's 17 years old and people feel like it's a very new company. It's not. They have a long tradition and history and foundation. And then also the fact that their largest client is the US government, which we've touched on before, but having the US government as your client is a very stable client.
They always pay.
Yes, they do not default. They pay a lot of money traditionally for contracts, and your Palantir is looking like they're in consistent position to get more contracts. In addition to that, they just did their demo day. I didn't hear the best things from the demo day. However, let's see. Maybe I'm going to turn it back to you. Talk to me about what the stock's been doing, technicals, and just knowing that the demo day was just last week.
Well, as you can see, the current price is about $22. It's hovering over that. It's about 2% down for the day. The chart doesn't look that great. As you can see, back in early January and mid-January, it had these all-time highs of $45. And then, we had that little bit of a tech sell-off early February that everyone was affected towards it. But they've continued to make lower lows. And that's something that you don't want to see. Right here, this is the 50-day moving average, 100-day, 20, and 10, and it's below all of them. That's something you don't want to see. Just because if I'm about to trade this, I don't know where the bottom is. I don't know where it's going to bounce off of. And it's a new listing. Don't have a whole lot to go off of. That makes me apprehensive to get into it, just because I don't know where the bottom is. I can draw some quick lines and be like, well, it bounced here a couple times. just say if I was about to get into the stock, I would probably wait until it about $20.81 would be a nice point that maybe I would consider getting into.
And what's it at right now?
22.
Okay. Right. I see. What's really nice also about Captain Solutions is that they're aggregating all the people that are posting about it. So I am seeing a lot of charts that people are putting. I am seeing even lower than what you're talking about. People still targeting $18 a share to get in, just from some technical analysis drawings. Let's see.
Well, so what those folks are doing is they're going all the way back to, it looks to be November 15th, rather. That's right before the gap up, and that's at $18.
Yeah.
One thing I was looking at more of the last 40 days ish, but yeah, if you go further back, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. One thing to note is that PLTR, despite the price decrease, has massive bullish social sentiment. And we're talking about perhaps the most dominant run in Market Madness right now. I mean, they beat Zoom, which was expected, but then they beat Tesla. Then they beat SEC Limited, which may be the favorite stock on FinTwit. Then they beat Square, right? And Square had just beaten DMTK and CLH, who were both backed by Jonah Lupton, who had like hundreds of thousands of people, that he was like pushing these things to. Square beat them and then lost to PLTR. And now it's matched up against Bitcoin. And I just don't think it's even going to be an easy match for Bitcoin. People have a lot of people have Bitcoin going to this final. PLTR has just been absolutely dominant.
And what I would say to that, there must be a lot of reverse psychology going on with people's decision making. Who they want to win.
It got added to the Buzz ETF on the 15th, I believe. They added 438,000 shares. So that was
I think that one guy was right. I think 18 is actually a really nice price to get into it.
Yeah. I mean, they bought $10 million worth of it about a week ago.
Yeah. And for people at home, you can do this yourself. Pull back the chart. This is November. Draw the line, and see these big green candles. That's a gap up. And what they're talking about is right before the gap up, there was this little consolidation area, and where these candles, linked up multiple times, and that's where you kind of draw those lines, and that's around $18.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking at a couple of other charts, looking at the retraces. I don't see a ton else on it right now. I just wish they had a bit of a better demo day. But I'll say this: a lot of people that I follow are pretty convinced on them long term. I think that they would add to their positions as it continues to drop, but they really like the company for long term. Obviously, they like Peter Thiel, right? How can you not?
I like the company too. I watched on CNBC the CEO maybe a few months ago, and how many clients they have is like 200, 300, 400, but they're all the bluest of the blue chips. I think I remember him saying,
right.
So fantastic companies.
Yeah, I don't know if ARK has sold any, but I know that the day before PLTR's demo day, which was 1 week ago, ARKK Kathy Wood added 1.6 million more Palantir shares, bringing she added it to ARKW, and that brings ARKW's holding over 4 million shares of Palantir right now.
Wow.
So
I wonder if they were just averaging down.
That's a great question. That's a great point, because they were definitely buying on that upswing. I know that they were buying. It's funny because there's some overlap between these ARK funds and Buzz, right? So definitely interesting stuff there. But okay, let's look at the fourth contender here, and that is the overwhelming favorite to win it all, I have to say, but someone who I think is going to struggle in these next two matchups.
Bitcoin?
That is Bitcoin. I think it's not going to have, I don't think it's going to have an easy path. I think that, it only won with 54% of the vote ish over Ethereum. Yeah. And I think PLTR is a harder matchup than Ethereum. It won over GM. I don't think I told you this, but Bitcoin and GME, the number 1 and number 2 seed for the Zoomer category, went against each other. last week, and they tied. They perfectly tied on the nose. Jimmy was actually winning with 20 minutes left. They tied, and I had to repoll it, and Bitcoin won in the repoll.
But how many votes?
They in the first one they each got around 254 votes, or probably exactly 254 votes. And then I repolled them, and I don't know, Bitcoin won by a few percent to move on. But pretty crazy stuff. Bitcoin has been in close wins, ties. PLTR has been kind of running.
No, it is, and it's running at a good time where Bitcoin. There's been a little bit of profit taking going on late last week into the weekend. I was on my Coinbase account on Saturday night, and I think that's when it was 13% down, because I hadn't even looked at any news sources. I just went on my account and I was like, oh wow, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess speaking of that, Bitcoin just had that massive pullback. What are your thoughts on that pullback from maybe a technical standpoint?
Well, they have had trouble breaking, past 60, but then again, I thought they broke through pretty well of late, past what, $65,000. This is a 21 and 27 day moving average that Coinbase offers, and it's below both of them. You can draw some support lines and see what's going on. There was a long wick candle that dropped it almost to about $52,000 briefly, but then there was a lot of bullish sentiment, and it bounced it right back up to about 54,000, and right now currently about $55,500.
Right. So looking at BTC, there's definitely been some news around this.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit of profit taking. I think people get a little nervous when it breaks above 60, thinking it's going to have a massive pullback.
Yeah, I added to Bitcoin because I actually found it. I saw it under 53. So I threw in another like $400, whatever, like why not?
Yeah.
It was literally down $10,000 from the high of like 3 days ago. And I just thought that was too good of an opportunity, and it bounced right off of it.
No, I think so as well.
Yeah. So that was good. A couple things to note is part of the reason it fell was because of political reasons of people talking about crackdowns on Bitcoin. However, today there was an article published in CNBC that China is now changing its tone on Bitcoin. And Li Bo, who's the deputy governor of the People's Bank of China, called Bitcoin a investment alternative, which is very different from China's tone previously, which was that they were not going to have ICOs. They were not going to have cryptocurrency trading via like a real investment thing. And so now they're changing, and that's a huge market to come into crypto.
It's true. If, what they say is true, and, it's, you'll see it later down the road, if validation happens, with their markets and what they adopt.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I want to hear from you, from your like thoughts. How does the rest of this play out? So just to give you the data that we have on hand right now, because I am currently polling these. Let's take a look. I should probably pin that to my profile. Yes. Currently we have only about 166 votes counted for PLTR versus Bitcoin. PLTR is in the lead with 56% of that vote. And then we have Facebook versus Buzz with only 122 votes, and Buzz is losing. Facebook has 65% of that vote.
Wow. Well, I'm not going to change now. I'm going to dance with the one who brought me, which is Buzz. So I'm still bullish on Buzz. And then I think Palantir, I like a lot as well.
Yeah, so I am actually just going to throw out some retweets on those, try to get some more votes. I'm going to be pumping those up tonight. Probably should have pumped them up when I was on Benzinga earlier.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good video, by the way.
Oh man, these. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate that. I had a fun time on there. Got to show off a little bit of the Wolf app. Yeah. So tell me, I was going to ask you, how do you think the rest of this plays out? Who's going to win from the Final Four and then the finale?
Well, I like Buzz. Like I said, I'm going to dance with the one who brought me. I'm not going to change now. Yeah. I do think Bitcoin is in a bit of a sell-off, and maybe the sentiment's changing a bit. And I think Palantir is surprising a lot of people over and over again. So I think those two candidates I like a lot.
Yeah, I think Palantir is a nice upset pick here. I think that just the timing is, fantastic.
It's all about timing.
Like it really is all about timing, right? With what happened with Bitcoin, with this fall right now, Palantir has the perfect timing to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And
Because if Bitcoin cracked and blew past $70,000 this week, I feel like we would get a lot more votes.
absolutely, absolutely, it could definitely go one way or the other. Even something could still happen, right? These are only been up for about 2.5 hours. So there's 21 hours for something to happen. Bitcoin's always moving. It could really move in a different direction. I don't think PLTR is having a great day today. I don't think the market as a whole is having a great day today, which might push people away from stocks. But like I said, PLTR is winning right now. It's only down about 2.8%. It's under 22, right? It's at 21.84. Okay. And then when we get to this so you think PLTR against Buzz, and then Buzz takes it all the championship?
Yes. Yeah. I can't not take them at this point.
Is that, I guess, I don't know if you remember, but who did you have in the final four for your bracket when you made it?
I was trying to, I can't bring it up right now.
Yeah, it's fine. I know that you had Bitcoin, right? Or no?
Could you bring it? I had Bitcoin losing, I think, maybe the round prior to that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, all right. Well, as long as you get the winner, that's where the most points come from.
I know. I still feel foolish of picking waste management early on to break through a couple of those brackets, just because I think I was just too analytically heavy looking at it. It was a fantastic looking chart, and I was like, come on.
That's the funniest thing, because waste management, while the rest of growth has been terrible, is up 11 or 10.5% over the past month.
A beautiful chart. And I think I got swept up at the moment.
Yeah. All-time highs. I mean, we started this competition March 15th.
Yeah.
Since we started this competition, up 10%.
The moving averages don't lie. It's true.
They do not. They've been moving really nicely. So, Bobby, I think we covered all four of them pretty well. And maybe we'll chat again once we have knowledge of who's going to the finale. Anything else you want to cover today? Anything else you think the listener should know?
Just stay tuned to more videos, stay on Twitter, see what we're doing, and keep voting if you haven't already.
Absolutely. And Bobby, I think one of the greatest ways to get some exposure is also, we're going to have you on one of our Twitter spaces soon. Now that they're not crashing on me all the time, we'll get you on there and we'll chat some more stocks analysis. For anyone that's watching, I'm going to be having 3 Twitter spaces at least this week, one tonight at 8 p.m. EST on the gaming sector, one on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. with Jonah Lupton doing a one-on-one interview, and one on Friday at 5 p.m. EST. I will have the general manager of TradingView will be on that. Anthony Ahayan, the host.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, both the hosts, Anthony Ahayan and Avi Mash, the host of Pounding the Table, will be on there. So they're going to be a lot of fun. All right, Bobby, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.
One last thing. If anyone wants to, has a favorite stock in mind, tweet me and I'll take a look at the chart for you.
Absolutely.